The system did not break overnight, it was dismantled piece by piece by an unholy alliance of desperate parents, rogue coaching barons, and multi-state criminal syndicates who realized that in India a piece of paper can be worth more than gold. As we stand here just a week away from the re-examination of NEET 2026, an unprecedented logistical nightmare triggered by the May 3rd leaks, we have to ask, how did a system designed to test the brightest minds in our country become so remarkably easy to hack? The fundamental flaw in India's examination system is its reliance on this massive, archaic physical supply chain. When you conduct an examination for 24 lakh students on the same day, sheer volume of logistics becomes your greatest enemy. Question papers are sent to private commercial printing presses weeks in advance. These presses are staffed by underpaid workers who handle the most valuable documents in our country. These papers are then packed into trunks and transported to thousands of kilometers to bank strong rooms and local centers in private trucks. Examination bodies like NTA do not own enough centers. They outsource to private schools, engineering colleges, and contractual invigilators. Every time a physical paper changes hands, a vulnerability is born. All a syndicate has to do is find the most underpaid and weakest link and offer them a fortune. As we all of us understand now, there is a billion-rupee underground industry, and there are mainly three operators who are involved in these kinds of leaks. So the first operator is the inside men, and in this case of NEET 2026, NDA's own subject experts were involved. The individuals who were tasked with setting the paper and translating it, they used their clearances to smuggle out the question papers. Then there are rogue coaching institute owners who fund and facilitate these syndicates. Their work is like brokers. They identify the desperate buyers and they purchase the question papers from the syndicate and run safe houses where they make the student memorize the answers the night before the exam. Desperate parents are the ones who are funding this. There are around 24 lakh students fighting for roughly 1 lakh seats. Due to this extreme scarcity of seats, there are parents who are willing to pay 5 to 10 lakhs for a WhatsApp guest paper. Until now, government's approach was reactive. They would treat the symptoms while ignoring the disease. When leaks happened, government would simply cancel the examination and arrest some low-level transport drivers or middlemen and move on. They failed because the crime had no real deterrence. Examination fraud was largely considered a bailable offense. Masterminds would get out, rebrand, and strike the next year. Furthermore, the NTA kept relying on the compromised private infrastructure because it was cheaper and easier than building a secure infrastructure. The catastrophic failure of May 2026 resulting in Supreme Court wrapping the NTA and forcing them to conduct a re-examination on June 21st, 2026 actually broke the camel's back. The government is finally changing the rules of engagement. So for the June 21st re-examination, government is finally treating the examination as a matter of national security. They are using Indian Air Force and Central Armed Forces for moving the paper. The Prime Minister's office is directly monitoring the logistics. The NTA has randomized all the centers, and the Public Examination Act 2024 means anyone caught leaking now faces 10 years in prison or 1 crore fine. So looking past June 21st, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan Committee realized that we cannot secure the paper completely. So their recommendation is kill the paper entirely. So we lack the infrastructure required for testing 24 lakh students on computers simultaneously, but we have also been too relaxed to employ the military grade security required for the physical paper examination. The recommendation proposed by the government's own expert committee, CPPT, Computer Assisted Secure Pen and Paper Testing, is the bridge. In this model, heavily encrypted digital files will be sent to the local secure centers and it will be printed just 2 hours before the examination, entirely eliminating the transport and printing press mafias. To put it bluntly, CPPT is just a tourniquet. It's not a cure. It brilliantly eliminates the transport and printing press mafias, but it does nothing to stop what happens at the center. If we only rely on CPPT, the mafias won't disappear. They will simply pivot to other vulnerabilities. Here is where India must adopt the global reforms to close the remaining loopholes. CPPT secures the paper, but what if the person holding the pen isn't the real person? Syndicates charge tens of thousands for sending proxies to sit in place of the actual applicant. China completely eradicated this by linking its examination registration with the state controlled biometrics. To enter a Gaokao center, you have to pass the live biometric test. Even the Radhakrishnan Committee has suggested to implement the Aadhaar based live biometric test at every center, but the implementation is lagging. What if the invigilator is bribed? There has been cases where the local supervisors have literally dictated the answers to the students or allowed them extra time to fill up the OMR sheet. High stakes examinations like South Korea's Sunu or American GRE do not use local private schools. They use dedicated state monitored centers. Furthermore, India can adopt AI driven CCTV analytics software which can monitor thousands of centers simultaneously and flags off any kind of anomalies like an invigilator standing next to a student for far too long. The only way to make an exam completely leak proof is computer adaptive testing. In this system, there is no set paper. The AI generates the next question based on the last question you answered. If 24 lakh students taking 24 lakhs unique dynamically generated exams, the concept of paper leak ceases to exist. India must build the digital infrastructure to make this a reality within the next 5 years.
Red lines cross the water from Berlin to the Bay, feeding the furnace, turning the sky gray.